I'm going to show you how do you solving a problem of designing a interest rate swap. Interest rate swap is an agreement to exchange interest rate payment between two parties. One party pays fixed, the other party, and receive floating rate or variable rate. The second party pay the floating rate but receive fixed. Why they do that? Because through this private arrangement or over-the-counter arrangement, they create an alternative compared to the market, the existing instrument. For borrowing, it provided a alternative low rate of borrowing. And during those interest rate swap arrangement, each party still remain liable for its own borrowing obligation in the fixed or variable loan. The only dealing with through the swap deal is the interest rate difference. So the principal amount is not has no risk. The only risk is being between the small amount of interest rate settlement part. So the principal usually is called the notional capital. So let's do this. Look at example in my next slides. I'm using this one which is a different from the book, but I think it'll give you some kind of better idea on that, what this interest rate swap it really is. First, let's look at the market condition. Now, let's assuming there are two companies, company AAA, company BBB. The name suggests one has a lower risk, the other one has a higher risk. The AAA company, which has a lower risk, the fixed cost borrowing cost is 10%. The floating rate is LIBOR plus 30 basis point. LIBOR stands for London Interbank Offered Rate, which is a very similar international standard, very similar to the treasury bill rate. It's a risk-free rate for international banking. As for basis point, here 0.3% or 30 basis point. A basis point is 0.1 of 1%. So for example, here we call 30 basis point. Okay. Now for the triple B, it's 100 basis point. 100 basis point. So if we're looking at in terms of term to maturity, the long term to maturity, short-term loan, long-term loan, the liability maturity or the loan maturity. And the vertical axis represents the cost percentage-wise. Now, for AAA, which has a high credit rating, so low cost, short-term is LIBOR plus 30 basis point. For 30-year long-term loan is 10%. For BBB is LIBOR plus 100 basis point. For long-term loan is 11.20. Let's look at the difference. Those difference, we call it quality spread. Spread is the difference. Why you have those spread is due to quality of their asset, or are we looking at credit worthiness. Now, pay attention to that. Those are not same. In other words, the spread is not the same. One is 120 basis point, the other one 70 basis point. So there is a difference of 50 basis point. And this is what the market condition would provide opportunity so people arrange some private deals to explore that difference, to explore the difference between the quality spread, okay, the 50 basis point. Now let's do this. Look at a direct arrangement between the treasurer of these two companies. Let's look at my next slides. So we still have the this company. Okay, the quality spread here is 1 point. First, look at the quality spread between AAA, triple B. Triple B pay more, 120 basis point more. For floating rate, they pay 0.70% more. So the difference between these two are 50 basis point. 50 basis point. Now let's do this. Let's split that. On the market, so triple B, they want a fixed rate. Triple A wanted a variable rate. Let's make an arrangement. So triple A go to the fixed rate market, borrow at 10%. Triple B go to the market, the variable rate market, to borrowing at LIBOR plus 100 basis points. But triple B say that I'm going to sign a swap deal for the next, let's say, 5 years. Every year I'm going to pay you 9.95. And triple A will pay triple B LIBOR rate. So they created an artificial fixed rate for triple B and artificial variable rate for triple A. Now let's take a look at what is the effective rate, the fixed rate for triple B. So the triple B have the obligation in the LIBOR rate, in the floating rate market, with a rate of LIBOR plus 1%. But they receive LIBOR rate from AAA, whatever the LIBOR rate is. So LIBOR rate, cancel each LIBOR rate is 1%. The difference is 1%. They need to add like a 1% to the LIBOR rate to pay their obligation. Okay. Now, but they have the swap deal say that they are obligated to AAA 9.95. So this one add the 1%. What is the effective rate? The effective rate is for AAA. So the fixed rate is 9.95 plus 1 equal to 10.95. Is the effective rate, 10.95. Now for AAA, they pay 10%, receive 9.95. Here, the savings, see that? Here is a 9.95 LIBOR. So it's a LIBOR plus 0.05 is their effective rate. Now let's compare with the existing market cost. In variable loan for AAA is LIBOR plus 0.30. The effective swap deal let AAA borrow at the LIBOR rate only at the LIBOR plus 0.025. So the saving for AAA, the saving is 0.25 savings. Now let's look at triple B. Triple B, the effective rate is 10.95, but on the market is 11.2. What the saving for them? Also 0.25. But the 0.25 and the 0.25 savings, add them together, is the quality spread, 50 basis point. So obviously, they offer an alternative. The market condition, the AAA, triple B, will have this incentive to get into the swap deal to save them substantial money. But the problem, like those direct swap, usually it would never occur, not very common in the real world because nobody know what the other party needs. In most cases, financial intermediary, like a banking industry, they all play the matchmaker, a deal arranger. Now let's do this one in our next slides. In our next slides, the same problem, same opportunity exists. So we know that the quality spread is 50 basis point. But 50 basis point, the bank is going to get 10 basis point, to receive 10 basis point as their fees for arrange the swap deal. So you have that 10 basis point, then we know the saving, if we assuming, is even Steven. So what is equal savings for both parties? So we know that the triple B will have a 20% save from market value, which is 11.2 minus 20. The effective rate, we basically know that is 11. Why we know that? Because we compare the existing market and also the saving we looking back from the quality spread. So 11%. Now, so how do I make those arrangements? In other words, how do you find that number? Triple B pay the bank. Now, we assuming the bank will pay triple B LIBOR rate. Usually the case. Even LIBOR can be any random number, depending on 6 months early the rate is. So it's a variable loan. It's constantly changing. So since they are obligated themselves at the floating rate market with the payment of LIBOR plus 1, LIBOR cancel each other out. They need to pay extra 1% plus LIBOR. Now we have 11 minus 1, then we have 10. So triple B is going to pay 10 to the bank. Now pay attention to the direction of the arrow. They pay 10. 10 plus 1, you get 11. Bank take their 10% cut. 0.1. 10 minus 0.1, they have 9.9 to pay to AAA. Now let's look at AAA situation. AAA want a variable loans. What is their effective rate for their variable loans? Now let's look at this. They are obligated themselves at the bond market at a fixed rate bond for 10% per year, but they only receive 9.9. But they paid the LIBOR. So the LIBOR plus 0.1. Well, how do I get the 0.1? Is 10 minus 9.9. There are difference. Right? This is the actual cost for them. So LIBOR, which is a random variable, plus 0.1 become their effective rate. Now let's compare to the existing market condition, what the saving for them. The existing market for A is LIBOR plus 0.30. The effective rate is LIBOR plus 0.1 for the swap deal. They are saving 20%. Saving, check. The same thing, let's check the effective swap deals for triple B. The market conditions 11.2, but the effective rate is 11, so their saving is 20 basis points. So this is how a swap deal is arranged. It is important for you to practice this, to looking at what is the market condition giving you the opportunity you can explore. So this is how a lot of financial deal is arranged. For the cost, you always find your arrangement should generate alternative which has a lower rate. But same logic will apply if you're looking at alternative of investment. You want your arrangement give you highest rate of return than the market currently existing instrument. So it's kind of repackaging of the existing market instrument to achieve whatever the purpose is. Now let's do a hands-on exercise. Now you can read the details, but let's do one exercise using the quiz 7.1 on page 185. By the way, for this online courses, I only concentrate on the interest rate swap, not the currency swap, okay? Currency swap actually is more complicated. Let's just do the interest rate swap. Quiz 7.1 say that company A, company B, they have been offered the following rates on a 20 million 5-year loan cost. So it's a cost. You try to reduce the cost. Now let's look at I'm using the pen here. For triple A is 5%. Triple B, here's single A. Company A, 5%. Company B, 6.4. For floating rate, LIBOR plus 0.1, LIBOR plus 0.6 for triple B. Now A want flowing. A want flowing. B want fixed. B want fixed. And the bank want 10% cut to arrange the deal. Now how do you, here they said equally attractive. This is just one thing even Steven let the split the saving equally between these two parties. But in real world, it's subject to negotiation. Okay. Here, just for the calculation, is much easier. We have achieved a uniform design here. Now let's look at how do I solving problem like that. The text book does not give you enough information on how do you do that. So here, I'm gonna give you the 4-step method, okay? Let you design and swap. Step 1, find the differences of the quality spread between fixed market and floating market. You find the difference. Number 2, you draw the diagram with arrow to indicate the direction of the cash flow. Usually you put the fixed rate on the top, variable rate on the bottom. From the right to left, from left to right, the bottom. Now the third one is most important. You need to calculate the effective rate by going backwards. Compare to existing market and find out what the saving is. And you deduct that saving from the existing cost. So the key element is this step 3. Now, step 4 is the checking, just to see if the saving both parties achieve is exactly equal the quality spread. Okay. So my slides here is empty slides. I'll let you give you an exercise. You can fill that in using all the steps. Fill that in using the logic the 4 steps you do. Right. So let's do. Now I'm just showing how that I would. Now first I look at the quality spread. So B minus A at fixed rate is equal to 1.4 basis point, 140 basis point. LIBOR rate is 0.5 basis point. So what the difference between quality spread? 0.90 basis point or 90 basis point. So here is the key, right? the difference, quality spread, is 90 basis points. The 90 basis point will be the second step. You draw the diagram. A, bank, and the B. All right? And LIBOR rate underneath from left to the right. Fixed rate from right to left. Now here, in the case, A do not know what the B is. A dealing with the bank. B also dealing with the bank. And go to A, they want to create a swap for variable loans. But they obligate themselves in fixed loans. So here, they pay the fixed rate. They incur a 20 million loan from the fixed market. The borrowing cost 5%. The same thing true for B. Go to market, borrow at the LIBOR plus 0.6. This is they're obligated for that, whatever the loan is. The bank arrangement is the swap deal. It's for the interest rate payment. Now we know that the bank will take 0.1. So we pretty much put this one in 0.1 or 10 basis point here. Now let's look at how do I decide it, the cash flow between B and the bank. We know the LIBOR rates all passing through the bank. This one is simple, but fixed rate, what the fixed rate is. I do it backwards. Because we know that the saving for both parties is 40%, or 40 basis point. 40 basis point. So for B, if direct borrowing, the cost will be, the effective rate is 6.4. 6.4 minus 0.4, you have 6%. So 6% is your effective rate. I already know. The effective rate, we already know 6%. Why? We know they'll save me 40 basis points. 20/20 hindsight, okay, almost. Then how do I pay the bank? The B gonna pay bank. How much I need to pay? We need looking at the math doing this. You receive LIBOR, you pass through to your variable cost. So you still have 0.6 missing. Right? So you still need to come up additional 0.6% to whatever the bank pay you on that day. In other words, the effective rate will be 6%. That's 6% minus 0.6% is the deficit we need to put here. So here is 5.4%. So I put 5.4 here. The reason is we know the effective rate is 6. So 5.4 plus 0.6 equal to 6. Okay? So I go backwards. Now let's look at this. Bank cut 10 basis point from whatever it received, 5.4. So what passing along is 5.3. The A will receive 5.3. But how much they pay the fixed rate on their own fixed rate cost is 5%. They also paid LIBOR rate. So the effective rate is LIBOR rate minus 0.3%, because you always deduct 3%, the extra from the LIBOR you pay. If a LIBOR rate is 0.4, you pay 0.1. 0.4 minus 0.3 equal 1%. So here, remember, because this is you receiving, so it will deduct from the LIBOR rate amount you pay. So here, basically, we already designed the swaps. Now, the fourth step is checking to see if it is correct. So let's check A. A's market alternative is LIBOR plus 0.1 minus LIBOR minus 0.3 3. The saving is 0.4. The saving, okay, 0.4. Now this one we already have is a 6% from the swap deal, fixed rate 6%. The market alternative 6.4. So the saving is 0.4%. Add them together. Plus also bank 10 basis point. You have 90 basis point. My next slide is a summary of all those numbers. You can look at the chart on page 540. The final result look like this. But the important thing is the way of your thinking. We need to do the backwardation. We call backwardation or 2020 hindsight. We know the savings. Then you're looking at the existing alternative. You minus saving, you create an effective rate on that. It's a very good exercise. I hope everybody will spend some time do it. First, just follow me on those examples. Next step, try to not look at my example. Can you do it independently? After that, you can try the homework assignment because it's more variety in it. But the logic should be the same. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always email me. Good luck with your assignment. Bye.